Hey, what's up? It is Wednesday afternoon. Once again, welcome to Hit the Big Founder Show. I'm your host, Scott the Steamroller Steen, joined by two of the other four founders. Loud is out with illness. He flew pretty much nonstop for 2 days, and apparently that took it out of him. He's done. We're soft, that the people who pioneers used to get on wagons and go across the country, eating like hardtack, and they'd have diarrhea. It's fine. I had 2 flights in 2 days. Yeah, I'm sick. So. No, I'm sure. We talked about it before the show, man. A plane is a great place to catch some kind of virus, whatever the hell it is. So hopefully he'll recover soon. Wes is doing Wes things, probably getting his heart broken by a crazy woman. So hopefully he'll be joining us soon.
He's getting ready to move. So
that's right. He's going to Vegas. Vegas, baby. Yeah, if you're having women troubles in LA, Vegas, good move there. But you know what? We got the brain trust of the outfit here, so screw those guys. I am joined he's in the upper row. In the upper row for like the first time ever in his career. It's David, insert nickname here, Delano, the pride of Houston, Texas. What's up, baby?
Yeah, I'm not sure what to say without looking at everybody else's responses first so that I can copy off of it. I guess I'm doing okay.
That's right. You're gonna be leading off a lot today, buddy. So you better have some stuff ready to go. So got the winds down there in Houston. Do you guys have those high winds?
Yeah, I mean we had some. I mean, relatively speaking, it's always something, but it blew the trash can, in the street after the trash got picked up. But beyond that, it wasn't really anything for me to worry about. It was a little windy, but.
Here they've gone overboard here on the local weather. They put up like scales of how good it is to walk your dog. They put up a trash can scale. That's what made me think of it. Is it too windy to put your trash cans out? And they give you like 4 bins or whatever. Just stop it. Just
no. I mean, it was just windy where there's nothing in your trash can. You probably don't want it out there for more than 30 minutes. But
well, my daughter lives down close to Tyler, and they had a huge tree that fell on their house. So they were both gone at the time. All the pets are fine, but yeah, they got home last night. There's a tree in their living room. So good times there. Luckily it's a rental. So sorry guys. And now the pride of Philadelphia, he's ready for another fantastic Philadelphia Phillies season. You know him, you love him. He just spent 5 minutes hotboxing like 3 cigarettes before the show. So it's Tom McCreen, everybody. What's up, bud?
Not too much. I was going to tell you about the tree that fell down on the street in front of my house, but after the story you told.
That's right. Follow that, bitch. Can't do it. I saw somebody in town. They showed it on the news. It fell across their driveway and they like drove across their yard to get to work. Like, man, that's dedication right there.
That is dedication.
I got to tell you, I'm picking up that phone and going, yeah, there's a tree in my driveway. I ain't coming in. Sorry. I'll be out there with a chainsaw all day. So, oh man. So this is it. This is conference tournament time. I'm psyched. I'm ready to go. We got Arch Madness starting tomorrow. We've got the ASUN continuing. So let's talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about conference tournament stuff. We're going to talk about kind of some bubble stuff within the big dance, see who's in and who's out, whether you guys agree and who do you think is going to make a run. So, and of course, Indian all sports. Tom, he doesn't concentrate just on college basketball. He's got hacky stuff. He's got the NBA. He's been hotter than hell. Delano, how you running? You running good?
Been doing pretty good, especially starting off March. I mean, these last 2 days, 7-1 last 2 days. I've been doing good in the NHL and NBA and college basketball. So, yeah, March starting off really well.
All right, very good. Hey, it's a guest. How about that? Tom, you know this guy?
I do.
Tom, give him an intro.
Ryan.
Give him an intro.
Go ahead. That's Ryan Rothstein.
That's it.
Wow.
Listen,
Powerful.
Don't vouch for me. Don't vouch for me, Tom.
My goodness.
Powerful stuff, Tom, as always. Ryan, welcome to the show. I'm assuming you know something
This
about
guy's going to make us look good.
Okay, excellent.
Now that the audience is familiar with Ryan,
that's all they need. That's all they need to know, fellas.
I'm assuming you know something about sports, or we're going to talk about Oscar snubs. I don't know, man. It's good to have you here, Ryan.
I know a little about a lot. So, yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate
Excellent. Shallow and wide, just like me, brother.
it. That's right.
What part of the country you hail from?
Jersey, Atlantic City, New Jersey, Philly.
Okay, so
South
you're
Jersey, Philly.
another big Eagles fan.
Yeah, Philly guy my whole life. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Great time. You got
That
back.
is
You got backup now, brother.
Why? What are you, Scott?
I'm living in Kansas City.
Yeah, oh, perfect.
Yeah, I thought I was done. I thought I was done with this, but no. Apparently, you just keep bringing people in from Philly. Congratulations, Tom. Appreciate it. That's all right. It was a good win for you guys. I was happy to see. Happy to see. If we couldn't win it, I'm happy for you guys. I really am. That was a good time, and congratulations on keeping Saquon another couple of years and breaking the grass ceiling, if you will, for running backs.
My goodness. Yeah, they're just they're paying everyone the past couple of days here. It's crazy.
Somebody going to get paid. All right, Delano, let's go back to you. We got conference tournaments coming up. We got NBA in full swing, NHL. What are you looking at next couple of days, my friend?
Well, as far as next couple days, kind of been taking it day by day with the basketball, especially since the lines aren't available too far in advance. One thing I'm noticing in the NBA, it seems we're getting to that point of the season, just generally where you've got teams that, NBA, they don't always play hard every day. You've got a lot of load management, but with the races being so tight, especially in the Western Conference, we're at a point where a lot of the teams, like we've seen lately with the Golden State Warriors, Minnesota Timberwolves, Lakers, they can't play around anymore if they want to get good position. And a lot of bad teams, there's teams that are giving up and are tanking. I mean, you're seeing it, teams like the Hornets, even though they've been bad all year, they're really bad now. So what I'm kind of pointing out is some of these big spreads that, may not be usually happy about laying, these -8s, these -9s, these -12s. We're seeing a lot of these big numbers get covered just because it's hard to – sometimes it's not enough points when you have a team that needs to win against a team that's quitting. So, I mean, one game tonight I'm looking at, even though they're on a back-to-back, the Timberwolves -8 against the Hornets, they're just, tanking it right now. So that's one thing looking forward to the weekend. And also college basketball, there's going to be a lot of value on these road teams if you can find the right ones. I know home court advantage means a lot in college basketball, but you're seeing a little bit of I think these last week of the season, you still want to look at the circumstances and the scenarios because I think some of these home teams are getting a little bit more than they deserve. So instead of just blindly looking at it, look at some of the teams, what they've done with their home court advantage, because every team is not better at home. Most of them are, but there are some teams that really haven't been too great with the home court advantage.
Well, and not necessarily home court, but we saw a little bit of that taking the foot off the gas last night with the Auburn Tigers, who have the SEC wrapped up, and they went down and they were whatever they were 6.5 point chalk when that game finally tipped off at A&M. And A&M, good team, top 25 team, played good defense, and they basically ran them out of the building. That was a 83-72 finish, and that's about right. They led them by a double digits for most of the game. So I think we kind of saw it with Auburn, even though they play the same guys. There just isn't the same sense of urgency that there is with some of these other teams. Very good. And I'm going to cover. I got some great tips. I'm always a fan of one particular trend in Arch Madness, or the Missouri Valley Conference there in St. Louis, the tournament. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So, Dave, anything else you want to touch on before we move along to the Philly guys here on the bottom?
No, we could go ahead and get to it. I mean, we could go ahead and get to it. Some of the tournaments, that I'm interested in, all the seeds aren't there. I know you're a Missouri Valley guy. I'm a big MAC guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're fighting for position. Those scenarios aren't decided yet. But one thing I like about the MAC, a lot of these tournaments, they let everybody in. They've got 12 teams in the conference. They only let 8 in. So, if you're looking to bet on some MAC basketball this Saturday, there's going to be some teams playing in playoff scenarios. But I won't take up any more time talking about the MAC.
And all the games are in Indy in the MAC, right?
They've been. I wonder if they switched it. They've always been in. They've been in Cleveland for like the last 11 years, but.
Right.
things always change. I didn't check to see where it was this year, but usually it's in Cleveland at Rocket Mortgage, or they always change where the Cavs play. That's normally
Yeah, I know the Horizon League's playing in Indy.
That's okay. Okay, but they're playing in the field house, right? They're not playing
Corteva Center.
Oh, okay. Maybe they changed.
I think
don't
it's where IU Indy plays.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
but it's an NBA arena. Yeah, so it's always neutral.
see, and that's what I was going to say. If you've got some of these small conference teams that are playing in much larger venues than they're used to, I mean, some of these teams in your mid majors are playing in front of 2,000, 3,000 people, and all of a sudden you're moving up to a 20,000 seat arena, or in some cases moving into even bigger fields like stadiums there in Detroit or in Indianapolis. Look for the shooting difference, because you'll often see it's a good time to play unders. The lines of sight are way different than they are in what they're used to. So,
and even with the bigger conferences, you get a lot of weird start times. A lot of games during the week starting at 11 a.m.
Yeah,
things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of those guys are used to blowing off sports management class at 11 o'clock, so they're not ready to play basketball. Tommy, what are you looking at?
So I have a college play today. I actually have one player prop if anybody gets those. Maryland is playing at Michigan. I think it starts at 6:30. But I like Julian Reese to have over 9.5 rebounds. Michigan is just not a good rebounding team. He's got in double digits in 12 of the last 18. I think he's going to get over his rebounds here, 9.5. He'll get double digits. Good price. That's minus 115. And then
I was just going to say anything better than 150 with those stats is going to be a plus EV play. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's good. And then I also have a college basketball play. Tennessee is playing Ole Miss at Ole Miss. Tennessee is an elite D. I think even on the road, they're going to be able to slow the pace, limit the possessions for Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a team that thrives on forced turnovers, the quick transitions. Tennessee has dominated this series. They won 9 of the last 10. I like Tennessee minus 3.5. I also have some golf. We could get to that whenever.
Okay. All right.
And that's Angel Reese's brother there that you're for your player prop.
Is he?
Is that right?
I did not know that.
No. What is his name? Diablo Reese?
Julian Reese.
Okay. All right, new guy. Let's talk to Ryan a little bit. Ryan, what are you looking at this time of year and this week?
Yeah, and listen, David was like, I don't want to keep going. Hey, if you have winners, man, you can talk for an hour straight. I'll jot them all down, dude. So, I mean, probably more winners than I do. Yeah, right now I'm a little bit all over the place, right? Some NBA. I liked what David was saying about the NBA. I think the NBA is so tough night to night, but I agree with right now, depending on the matchup, I like the big numbers. Like Portland's getting 10 against the Celtics. That was something I highlighted. I like the 10. I know Boston and Portland are on different stratospheres, but Boston's had trouble, closing teams out and covering big numbers. And, I like that. I saw Dinwiddie, like someone has to step up now with Kyrie out, right? So, Dinwiddie looking at his player props for assists, in like 18 starts this year, he's gotten, I think he averages like 5.8 assists. His assist number is usually 4.5 player prop, right? So like tonight I would look at maybe Dinwiddie over on his assist player prop, right? So I'm sort of just all over the place, but I really key in on NBA player props and some opportunities against the spread, although it's not something I do night to night. Conference tournaments, I love betting the conference tournaments in college hoops, especially day 2, day 3, day 4. Love looking at those unders. Like you guys already touched on with the shooting and mid-majors, stuff like that. So, and I'm getting ready for baseball. I love betting season totals, especially with the Phillies. I'm fading a lot of Phillies stuff, which is not popular around here, but.
What's the Phillies number this year? Like 90, 91, somewhere in that neighborhood?
91.5. The over is actually, it's a good price, even money. Put a gun to my head. I would say take the over because you're getting, a decent price at even money. But, there's a lot of other plays I don't like. Like, Harper to win MVP, he's 14-1. That's a popular conversation around here. I would not bet that. Like Wheeler, he finished second last year in the Cy Young. I would fade Wheeler too. I mean, Wheeler's every year he's been awesome for this Phillies team, but 35 years old, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop with him.
Right.
Like I just don't know how many more years the Phillies are going to get this version of Zach Wheeler. How many more years are going to get this version of Aaron Nola, right? So there's like a lot of popular plays locally and even nationally with the Phillies in the futures market that, I would probably advise to stay away from.
Very solid, very solid. And I think maybe next week we'll talk a little baseball futures. In fact, we were supposed to talk AL Central today, weren't we?
Today would have been the West.
Or did we talk Central last week?
No.
Okay.
So I guess at some point it's supposed to be AL Central.
You guys just gonna write off the AL Central? You can't write off my Royals, baby. They're up and coming.
I like them. I like the Royals this year.
Oh God, there's the kiss of death. Yeah, I do too. That's what I'm worried about is they see if they can make that next step. All right, so here's the deal, and I wanted to talk about this because Arch Madness is notorious for one thing, and it's unders. They play there in what used to be the Checker Dome there in St. Louis, and if you 131.5 is the number that you're looking for during the last 10 seasons. On totals that were posted at game time of 131.5 or higher, the under is 39-21. That is a 65% run. So it is also a bad place to play dogs, deep dogs. Only 2 of 42 underdogs of 6.5 points or more in the tourney since 2014 have won outright. And ATS, they've gone 13-29. That is just 31%. So taking the favorite, spin that around 69% to the good. And my last Missouri Valley Conference trend. And I played this last year and, of course, got beat. Prior to the Indiana State loss last year when they were -3 and ended up losing to Drake outright. Favorites in the tournament are absolute gold. They won the prior 12 and were 11-0 ATS since 2013. So take that with a grain of salt. It didn't hold last year. But, again, the 11 games before that, it did hold. So it did hold. So in keeping with that, I've got a play that I'm looking at for tomorrow. It's going to be in that tournament, and it is got it here somewhere. Yeah, never mind. It's the first game. Oh, it's the Indiana State Southern Illinois game. Sorry, under 158.5. It just follows that trend. There is another afternoon game. Total on that right now is listed at 132.5. That's just too close to that 131.5 for me to get involved in. But I do like the Indiana State Southern Illinois under 158.5. So as Tom alluded to earlier, we got a little golf. Guys are coming back strong, and the season is in full swing. If you'll excuse, Tom, first of all, how you been doing on golf? Have you hit any of those guys?
Yeah, I've actually been doing well. My 3 balls have been great. Unfortunately, we don't get that in this tournament. There actually is a Puerto Rico tournament this weekend. I'll have those plays posted in Discord. I'll do 3 balls for that.
What's a 3 ball?
It's the guys who you're matched up with on that day. You have to beat them.
You don't call them matchups?
No, matchups are between 2 people.
And you're talking about there's 3 guys?
3 guys.
Okay.
So most tournaments, you're in a grouping of 3. You play with the same 3 guys, first, second round, or third, fourth round.
So they just list them by group.
Yes, but you could also bet groups, which is different.
Yeah, one group against another group.
No, you could bet a group of guys that aren't the same as what 3 ball is.
It's a world gone mad. All right, I've never seen 3 ball bets. I've made a few golf bets, but I've never.
They're great.
All right, so what do you got? You got any 3 balls?
All right, not for this one.
Name in high school, by the way.
There you go. Yeah, so this is the Arnold Palmer Invitational. We're at Bay Hill in Florida. This is a tough course. There's 72 entrants. The cut is the top 50 and ties, 10-stroke rule. This is a signature event, so it is a good field. We're going to see Scotty. We're going to see Rory. Scotty's a favorite at plus 300. can't really give him out, but I pretty much bet Scotty all the time. I do like Rory here. He's in great form right now. You can get his top 5 at plus 140. So his last 18 of top 10s, he's been in the top 5, 17 of those. So he's consistent when he's in the top 10, that he's in the top 5. So I'd go for that top 5 number. You can get that at plus 140.
Tom, I'm sorry. I was going to ask you real quick, for somebody who's not as into betting on golf, what does the 10-stroke rule mean?
All right. So if you're top 50 and tie, if you are down by more than 10 strokes to the leader, you're also on the cut line.
Okay.
So
what
not a lot of people
precedent?
are going to be cut.
What
No,
takes
it's
precedent? If the guy is in 50th, but is 12 strokes back, does he make it or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
it's the top 50,
top
and then
50.
the 10 below that. Okay, I got you.
Correct.
All right, very good.
Okay.
All right. Man, I had something clever to say and I totally forgot. So
Any long shots? Any long shots you like, Tom? I'm not a huge golf bettor, but I love looking at, I'll bet the majors, and I love betting, 20, anyone I can research that's 20 to 1, 30 to 1, even bigger.
just takes one of those, man.
Yeah, I mean, golf.
We just saw one last 2 weeks. We saw it, but this isn't that kind of tournament. You really want to look at the top guys are literally the top guys, and these other guys are just
playing in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. But I do have some more plays. So I like Louis Aberg. He's plus 1,600.
There we go.
The guy's been in great form. He's a young golfer. I think he can compete with these top guys. And then I also have a head-to-head play. That is Andrew Novak versus Lucas Glover. You can find that at even money. So Novak, he came in top 8th at the Century, top 26 at the Sony Open. He was top 9 at Cognizant. That was the tournament last week. He doesn't have a lot of experience here, but he does what he needs to do. He played here in 2024, finished top 21, 1 under, respectable. So he ranks well in strokes gained, and he's a reliable ball striker, which is crucial here at Bay Hill. He does lack the distance, but that doesn't bother me here. And then on the other side, you have Glover. He has a good track record here, 8 starts since 2015, averaged at 2 over, 39th place finish. We're not going to see high scores here. His best recent result was top 30, though, in 2024. 2023, he missed a cut. This course demands precision over power, and I think Novak's form right now, his iron play is going to outdo Glover's veteran savvy and how he putts. I think Glover's going to lose gas in the end rounds. So this is for the whole tournament. Andrew Novak over Lucas Glover, even money.
Tournament result, not first day. I got
Correct.
you. All right, very good. Anything else from the links?
That's it.
All right.
I'll, as I said, there's a Puerto Rican Open too. I'll have those up tonight on Discord.
Okay, see. You said Scheffler was 3 to 1 plus 300.
Correct.
I can't trust anybody that adds a Y to their name for no reason. I don't trust Scotty's, Danny's.
He's IE.
Huh?
Scotty doesn't have the Y.
That's even worse. That's even so that's like candy with an I. Just shut up and get on stage. All right, Delano, what do you got from golf? You got golf? You got any women's table tennis? What are you looking at?
No, I don't really like to lose my money intentionally, so I try to stay in my lane. I'm expanding, but I haven't expanded that far. So no, nothing in golf. Or
I got you.
I have been watching the women's Unrivaled League though. I haven't been betting on it, but I do like it. So maybe in time. But yeah, still some other things on my list before I get to golf. But I know you mentioned the Missouri Valley Conference totals, and I was looking at these, and all of these. I mean, what you're saying, there's a lot of bettors out there. Sharp bettors, I think, would have that same mentality because the site that I look at with the opening lines and the current lines, I mean, there's still a lot of time before these games tip off tomorrow, and every single one of these games has dropped between 2.5 points to 6 points. You know that Missouri State. I think you mentioned that Missouri State, Illinois State. It was showing 138. Now it's 132.
Yeah.
That Valpo game against Illinois Chicago, a little bit of a random game. It looks like it's 149.5 now. It was 154.5. That was actually a loss I took on Sunday in the regular season. I had a over 152.5 in that game. And it was one of those games. Illinois Chicago scored 5 points in like the last 7 minutes of that game. It was one of those games you're looking at, you're like, I got it. And then they just stopped scoring. So they fell on 150 in the last day of the regular season. But that 149.5, I mean, that's probably a good lean to the under. Obviously, different environment, raised stakes. So
yeah, this is it's not exactly a secret anymore. We were onto this about 5 years ago, and the line stayed pretty stable. But as more and more people get smarter and more people put betting content out there to the masses, this nice little secret in St. Louis is kind of fallen on the wayside. So that brings up a great point that we always talk about. If you've got a bet you want to make, as soon as you can make it, get it down, because especially things like this, you're going to see a lot of dynamic line moves in conference tournaments, because they're just kind of throwing a dart at the board, especially when they're playing on neutral courts. So if you got something you like, or you hear a good tip that you want to ride, sooner is always better than later. You're going to get the most value for sure. And of course, shop your lines. You're going to find probably a great deal of difference across the lines that are available to you.
And with those early numbers, it doesn't take as much money or as much action to move those. So like you said, they put that in there and everybody right away comes in. Like, I want that under 138.5. It's going to move. It's going to move fast.
Right. Absolutely true. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything that you're looking at like over the weekend, or anything grab you?
Not so much over the weekend. I'd say I haven't got to that point yet with the college basketball, just because we don't know the lines yet. And then even though with these conference tournaments, like the Horizon and Ohio Valley, it's kind of Missouri Valley. It's one of those day by day things. You don't even really know who all the matchups are. So as far as the weekend, I'd say I haven't got to that point just yet. I am excited about baseball too, and I know Ryan mentioned, I guess since we're kind of talking about everything, the Phillies total over. I haven't bet it yet, but I'm a little bit down on, not saying they're going to be terrible, but as far as the Braves, I think that their win total is a little bit high. I could see the Braves, just due to some of the injuries they've had, some of the losses. I kind of think the Braves, they're not going to be a bad team, but I think that they might take a little bit of a step back and fall on that season win total under. So it's one of those things. There's so much, out there, NBA, and there's certain teams in the NHL right now too that I'm kind of not betting every day, that I'm kind of looking at, like when they play certain times. Anytime the Columbus Blue Jackets are at home, I'm watching, to see they've been a great home team to back. So that's a lot of different random things, but those are just kind of some of the things that have been on my mind.
Okay. And I will throw, before we go back to Ryan, looking at the Royals win total of 82.5, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little regression. We still haven't solved our corner outfield problem. And we had a bunch of middle of the road cast-offs last year that came together as a pitching staff and really pitched over their head. I wouldn't be surprised to see regression from the pitching staff and keep that win total under 82.5. And you're getting a pretty good price there on the under at -105. So, all right. Ryan, tell us what else you're looking at here, my friend.
Like I said, I don't really have anything in particular. If you want to throw questions or anything, specific my way, but like I said, it's really just about opportunity.
Have you looked at any other win totals in MLB that you like, other than keeping an eye on the Phillies?
Not too much, no. Like for me this year, it's a lot of Philly based, because that's based off the shows that I've been doing.
Right.
It depends on me each year. So, but right now it's a lot of Philly coverage for me. So, that's where I've been keying in on. The Philly stuff. Like I said, I don't really like a whole lot of anything right now for the Phils. It's interesting you said you don't like the Braves too much. I don't know if the Phillies win the division. I don't know who wins it if it's not the Phillies. But
Yeah,
I
that
just
base
have-
total is 93.5. That's what I was saying. Not that I don't like them, but I think that that's a bit high.
right.
2 games higher than the Phillies total right now.
Yeah. No, I hear you. That number is a little bit high too. Even 91.5 for the Phils. I mean, they're on paper, they're elite. They got to 95 last year. Like I said, based off the price, I like it, but I'm not bullish on it by any stretch.
Can the Mets make a run?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not rooting for it, but if I have to put my Philly bias to the side, I mean, I think they can.
Bringing in Soto there.
Yeah, you had a guy like that. It's hard to say no. And it's just, I mean, baseball is it's a grind. It's the definition of a marathon. So, I mean, you don't know what injuries are going to take place. Obviously, that's anything in sports. It's a broad statement, but you just don't know. The Phillies have been really fortunate health-wise. I mean, last year they had 4 starters get to 27 starts. Is that going to happen again this year? Probably not. They really had no injury concerns of significance last year out in the field. Is that going to happen again this year? Probably not. And their depth is horrendous outside of Sosa in the infield that they have on the bench. They have Cody Clemens, but bleep happens. So some bleep can definitely happen for the Phillies. I guess that's one of my biggest fears. But do you guys look into college basketball futures market at all? As you can tell, I've brought that up a few times. Like for me, if it's not night to night NBA, I'm a futures market guy. I like trying to find value and like Final Four bets and stuff. I like looking at those.
Yeah, this is about the time that I start looking at them to see where the value is. Right about the time conference tournaments get started. Who are you looking at? Who do you think is got a good price?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to pull up. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because a lot can change between now and, like you said, the end of the week of college tournaments. But Houston's a team that gets brought up every year. I feel like this time of year, but Houston is a team that I like. I feel like I'm trying to find their price. I want to say they're around 10-1 to get to the Final Four. I could be wrong on that.
I've got them at 850 to win the national championship, so you might be getting a little better.
Okay.
Let me see where Final Four. Houston. Yep. Oh, plus 160 for Final.
Plus 160. All right. I was thinking. I must have been thinking the
Final
win it all.
Win it all. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Houston's a team that I like. Tonight, I actually saw there's a big game tonight in Florida, Bama. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that game, but I like Florida to win that game. I saw them getting 2.5. That's just for tonight, but.
I have a premium play on that. I will Florida catching. Are they still catching 3.5? Is that still the number that you're seeing?
I saw 2.5, but that could have moved. I don't have that.
It was a 2.5, and then it went to 3.5, and I haven't looked at it today because I've already locked it in. So
yeah, I saw it jumping between 3.5 and 2.5. I'm not betting that one. That one's
yeah, it's tough.
Some of those games are tricky like that. Florida's had a couple games. I mean, I think that they're one of those teams that can make you look bad either way. Obviously, the Gators haven't been getting a lot of respect in the national championship conversation, but they could definitely beat anybody. I was leaning Alabama. Don't feel great about it, mostly because of the home court. Alabama's coming off of that buzzer beater loss to Tennessee at the very end there. I think it's going to be a great game. I would probably take Alabama, but I don't love it at all. I don't have a personal bet on that.
Yeah, that's a Gators team that really kind of got a wake up call with that home loss to Mizzou, and they've pretty much been rolling ever since. They lost to Tennessee at Tennessee, and then they had the requisite loss to Georgia with the Dogs' home magic once again. Got them. They beat everybody else, including running A&M out of the building.
But that's kind of my point, Scott. Didn't they, in the 2 games they played Tennessee, if I don't remember, didn't they just completely destroy Tennessee the first time? Like they beat them by like 30 points or something that?
Yeah, that was a weird series. They beat them by 30 at home and lost by 20 on the road, putting up 44 points.
So Tennessee got crushed by Kentucky too both times this season.
Yeah, I know it's home court advantage, but I mean, how do you have? I mean, a 50-point swing from the second time you play a team is crazy.
Yeah, you definitely have to be careful, like taking into account if they played one, if they play a home and home, and reading too much into the first matchup. I mean, it can help if you see some sort of an aberration. You know, if they shot 32% from the field or something, you go, well, that's probably going to be a little closer to the mean going forward. But yeah, you can definitely get caught up, and you're like, well, they beat them by 30 the first time, so I got to play them here. And of course, they go down there and don't even show up, don't even get off the bus, put up 44 points. So, sorry, Ryan, we kind of went down the rabbit hole there. What else you looking at for futures?
No, you're good, man. I mean, I don't have a full list of things to throw at you today. I apologize.
No, you're good.
I'm hanging, taking in everything you guys are throwing out. But one random play I like also tonight, I saw two bad teams, but NC State's at home for senior night, and they've been pretty bad, but they're bringing in a Pitt team who's been even worse. And I think Pitt's just riding out this season. NC State's been horrendous, but they've actually been decent at home. And I think last time I checked, they're slight underdog at home on senior night against a Pitt team that I think has completely checked in their year already. So, that's a play I saw earlier that I like. I'll throw that one out there. NC State at home on senior night against a horrendous Pitt team.
I'm on them too.
Yeah, catching 2.5 there for sure.
Yeah.
With all these guys staying in college 6-7 years, senior night really takes on kind of a different connotation. It could be like senior citizen night.
I don't blame them.
And they might be seniors and get another year of eligibility to go somewhere else. So
yeah, they list the teams that he's played for 5 teams so far. Like, okay,
5 teams in 6 months. It's like it's unbelievable.
We got to make that stop. So
it's changed. It's interesting. I don't have the answer to this, but how it's changed, if at all, the betting on college hoops. It's definitely made it more volatile. Like, just you don't know what's going to happen every year to year with these teams.
Yeah. Once again, all these decisions are being made without anybody even considering what it means to the poor handicappers. Just
it's selfish. Yeah,
it really is. It
Yeah.
really is. I don't want to go to school there. Yeah, but what's that going to do to my parlay? That's the real question.
Yeah, exactly.
Even when you follow teams that schools you went to, like I went to Bowling Green, and people ask me about them. I'm like, what do I know about them before the season? And it's like, well, I know that 7 out of their top 8 guys coming into year are like completely different than last year.
Right.
So it's
They don't know
that I know about
They
them
couldn't
enough.
answer that, David. Like, if you ask the Bowling Green head coach in the offseason, he's like, I don't know yet.
Right. It's like I know enough. I follow the roster enough to tell you that I have no idea what to expect when the season starts.
But that's such an important part of handicapping. You make fun of it, but knowing what you don't know is critical, and trying to fill in the gaps with what you suspect versus what you actually know. It's something that you definitely have to watch out for, and you definitely have to watch your biases from past seasons and everything, because these rosters, like Ryan was saying, almost completely turn over. You've got 2 or 3 new starters on almost every team, especially once you get to the big boys. Now, some of the guys like Gardner Webb, they'll ride it out for the 4 years because they're not going anywhere. What were they looking at, Iona or something? But they're going to stay. But a lot of the big time teams, like your top 100 teams, top 50 teams, ton of turnover. Absolutely correct. So
I mean, look at I'll throw another example just to this conversation. I mean, Jay Wright got out at the right time. I think a lot of these guys, like Kyle Neptune's a joke. Like Villanova basketball, I think is about to become a joke. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but Jay Wright built that program to be an absolute Final Four beast year in and year out. And obviously the whole landscape has changed, as we've just outlined. And now it's like that program possibly just completely in the dumps now. We'll see, but you have to have a different kind of a head coach for sure running these programs now.
Yeah, you better be able to. It gives a different angle to recruiting. Yeah. It's not all about just going in and sitting in the living room and talking to mom and dad. It's about trying to wrest these guys away from other programs and sell your program why it's better than the one you're already at. So yeah, that's a great point. And personally, I'm going to worry about anybody with the last name of Neptune. The only way it could be worse, Scotty or Bobby Neptune. And that's
Oh,
it.
man.
No chance. No
I
chance
mean,
at all.
we've seen with Rick Pitino. You get a guy like Rick Pitino going to St. John's, get some money behind him. I mean, he said with all those holes to fill before the season, he said, I'm not wasting time recruiting high school kids, man. They can't fill the holes that we got. Just hit the portal. Even when they beat Seton Hall, he even said, I forget the guard's name. One of the guards for Seton Hall last year, they've had a tough year playing for St. John's now. Pitino even said after they beat Seton Hall the first time, Holloway at Seton Hall, he said he loves them, but Seton Hall couldn't compete with the money that we had.
Right.
How'd you could actually say it? He's like, hey, I got St. John's is giving him a bigger bag, and you got Pitino, and they
and I know Ryan was talking about Florida as far as Final Four national champions. St. John's is another team that I think is worth $1 of your time at plus 2,500 to win the national championship. I think I'm looking for defenses. I'm looking for experienced point guards. I think St. John's defense will travel. I think Tennessee's defense will travel. Of course, you're getting about half the price. You're getting plus 1,300 on Tennessee. I want nothing to do with Alabama. I don't know how you guys feel. I don't care if you're number one in pace. I don't care if you're number one in scoring. If you can't bring defense, you're not going. You're not going all the way. It just isn't going to happen. Traditionally, that's not what the numbers say. Any thoughts on those teams, guys?
Yeah, Tennessee's a team I feel like gets brought up every year for a Final Four run, and I feel like every year they disappoint. I haven't followed them extremely closely this year. I mean, I know it's a fair play and it's worth discussing, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's just I remember bringing them up as a play I liked 2-3 years ago, and I know they disappointed me massively. I just feel like every year it's like, they're long, they're athletic, they get up the floor, they defend everything you like for a Final Four run, and then for whatever reason they get to the tournament and it's like one and done, or just disappointing. Maybe that changes.
They still got
Bruce Pearl teams are like that too. So Auburn could be in the same boat there.
Yeah.
Well, and Houston kind of makes an art form out of disappointing in the tournament.
Yeah.
That's a team where you watch them play in their conference, and even once they joined the Big 12, they've been the same way. They've just dominated conference action, and that defense just doesn't give anything up. You're like, I don't know how this team's ever going to lose again. And then they go out there and absolutely just shit the bed.
And I think that's fair. And as bettors, that's something that you obviously have to look at is, all right, these teams that are year in and year out in the conversation, but who are they playing all year? Right. And Houston was always that team that classified as that. It's like, okay, they're beating the brakes off of these teams, but
they own Tulane.
Right. It's like, all right, so what?
Right.
It doesn't translate.
I always have to guard against this. You watch these small conference or the mid-major tournaments, and you get one team that just stands out. They run up and down the court, and they get a 15 seed, and they're going up against Alabama or something. You're like, well, I just saw this team play. I think they've got a real puncher's chance. I'll take the 32 points. Yeah. And then they just get run out of the building. So that's a personal thing for me, that I tend to fall in love too easily with some of these performances in the mid-major tournaments, and you think they can compete because you're seeing them play against teams on equal footing, and they're getting ready to go up where they are nowhere near equal footing. So that's my personal bugaboo. So if I start giving out picks where I like Ohio plus 19.5, just slap me and don't buy that play. Just don't do it. Tommy, what are your thoughts? You got any tournament thoughts?
I like Ryan. I like Houston. I think I guess in KenPom, you need to be in the top 20 offensive, top 20 defensive. They're both in that. I think the other two teams are Duke and Auburn. I already told you my thoughts about Auburn. I just think Bruce Pearl's not going to get them there. Maybe the Final Four. I think they end there. I kind of think Duke runs through this whole thing. I do have futures on Texas A&M and Iowa State. I'm not as confident in those right now.
That was a great buy in December, buddy. It looked good.
Also, I feel like we're kind of idiots if we make a bet right now before the bracket's set at this time of the year. as far as the futures market is concerned, right? Because it all depends on your path. I mean, Duke, everyone loves Duke. Everyone loves the obvious choices, but there always is that one region where you're like, oh, crap. Like this is, it's always about matchups in anything, but especially March Madness.
To steal the term from soccer, sometimes you got to have the group of death.
Yeah.
And you will definitely get that where somebody's road is easily paved and the other one is going to be roadblocks all the way around. The one long shot that I might like here is if as if 25-1 wasn't enough of a long shot, but I would the team I have up behind me. I don't hate Clemson at 65-1. If you want to take a flyer on something that's again unlikely to hit, but if you hit one in your life. You're gonna be up. You're gonna be plus money. So if you can hit a 50 or one or better, just one time, you're golden.
Yeah, I also like Clemson a lot, and to kind of piggyback off what Ryan was saying about seeing the brackets. Yeah, I like Duke a lot too right now. But if you get that bracket comes out and there's a chance that they could play Clemson in the Sweet 16. Not saying Duke wouldn't be favored, but that would not be something that I would be anxious to go out and lay a future bet with Duke on. So a lot of it does depend on those matchups.
Yeah, and I mean, and you could definitely have one of those third round matchups like with like a Florida or a Purdue or a Wisconsin or somebody like that if they put it all together can absolutely play with Duke. Just most nights you play it 10 times they're gonna lose 7, but if you happen to catch them on one of those 2 or 3 times out of 10 that they've got it going on. They can give that Duke team a run for their money. That was a Clemson is one of the teams that, in fact, the only team that beat Duke, right? That was their only loss on the season.
That was the only loss in the ACC.
Or the ACC, yeah, not the season. Sorry,
but yeah, Clemson did beat them.
I'm so dialed into conference. So, all right, very good. All right, guys, let's get out of here. We've had some fun. David, where can we find you?
Follow me. You can check me out on hitthepick.com and also on X at Get Sports Strong.
All right, very good. Are you on any of the other? Are you on the Instagram or the TikTok? Are you on any of that? You're putting up TikToks to everybody?
Yeah, so I need to get back to the TikTok. Haven't been posting as much, but been posting on Hit the Pick. I've got Get Sports Strong on YouTube. You've got I am on Instagram though. Get Sports Strong as well over there.
I thought you were going to double clutch and take tit talk there for a minute, that's going to be the show immediately following this one. So
we're the lead-in, yeah,
absolutely.
Grab some more followers quick, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you want to increase that?
How do I get on that one? Yeah,
just stay right there, buddy. Tommy, I know we can find you over at hitthepick.com. Where else are you?
Yep, at Rycape on all social media. Make sure you check out Hit the Track Fridays at 5:30. Get in that Discord. We're dropping plays all day, every day.
Discord's like running 500 laps at Bristol. There's a lot of bumping and trading paint in the Discord channel.
That there is.
Definitely check that out. Definitely check out Hit the Track. That's a lot of fun. I do that every week with Tom, and usually we have a guest that knows way more than I do, so that makes it extra fun. Ryan, it's your turn to plug. We didn't give you much of a plug when we introed you. So here's the outro. Give it to us, buddy.
I'm gonna keep it simple, just like the intro. At Wise Rye, WISERYE. I'm on everything. So X, TikTok, YouTube channel, all that good stuff. So you can find shows I'm doing daily and all the nonsense I put out. So
you want to plug your radio stuff at all?
Town Square Media, 97.3 ESPN. That's where I host a lot of my shows, co-host a lot of shows there.
Okay.
And yeah, I promote, I do a lot of other stuff here and there too. So it's all on my social.
Very good. Make sure you check out Ryan as well. And you know me, I'm the Steamroller. You can find me there on X or whatever. I allegedly have Instagrams and TikToks. I don't do much, but it's one of those things that are always on my New Year's resolution list, and I'm going to start doing them more. So make sure you check that out as well. So you can check me out on YouTube at Hit the Pick YouTube channel or Steamroller Picks YouTube channel as well. Gentlemen, thanks very much for stopping by today. Ryan, you are an admirable substitute for Loud. We would take that trade any day of the week. But In all fairness,
Hey, I don't know. I don't know if he knows about that indoor arena soccer league.
that's what I was going to say earlier. I was going to come to one of you guys to see if they had an MASL pick, just because that's Loud's deal, by the way, Ryan. He's got the hookup with like the commissioner of the league or something. So every week he gets on and talks about two things. He talks about how many goats have been born at his house the last week, and he talks about his favorite MASL plays. So I forgot to tell you that you have two responsibilities today, and
I would have came prepped. I know, like, goats born next week total was set at 1.5, so I don't know what the total.
We did set a total. They had 4 goats that are ready to go. We had the total set at 9.5, so we'll have to see how that's playing out. Gentlemen, had a lot of fun, and once again, I want to thank everybody for stopping by, everybody for watching and listening to us today. If you're listening to us live, you got some great information on plays to make on Wednesday night. If you're not listening live, maybe next time you will. So there. For myself, for David, for Tom, and for Ryan, you guys have a great weekend, and let's go out there and beat the books. All right. We'll see you next time on a Hit the Pick Founders Edition. Take care, everybody.